And here.
6:33 we'll call to order. Public comment. I'm assuming you guys are only here for the trail? Roland? Deb? No public comment, just a trail discussion?
Well, yeah, mostly the trail discussion,
Okay.
but also the beaver and also the Eagle
Okay,
Scout,
all right, well, no
lot
public
of personal
comment?
stuff.
Okay.
No.
We were supposed to have the Eagle Scout visit us. Is it? He is, okay. So we will have an Eagle Scout here tonight to speak about this, the Spalding Foundation and his work. And, good morning, Blake. Hey. Oh, where's the sign-in sheet?
Oh, yeah, you should have seen this
Blake,
one.
if you could,
It's black,
real quick,
this big. When the swelling went down somewhat, you could see the tendons that were all, oh, yeah, it was ugly.
Did it break?
No,
Sprain? Just bad sprain?
Right. So,
Is that your dominant hand?
yeah.
I have 3 copies. About people. Are you guys okay with sharing? Awesome.
Alright.
we're gonna leave one with them.
Listen, you put your name on here or don't call me, okay? It's the third call today from Boston.
Well, the contact needs to be in your phone for the name to show up, you know. All right.
You wanted me to sign in.
Yeah, just if you here. Oh,
Or-
yeah, this.
Oh, pen, here.
See that. Affiliation? Boy Scouts?
Yes, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Troop number, please.
Of course.
Since we have such a small number of troops in town.
Yes.
Thank you. I'll leave it over. Oh, no, there's one underneath the,
Oh, I'm just blind.
It's all right.
It's over so I can stand. Alright, so it's a pleasure meeting you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Blake Bournemouth. I am currently SPL of my troop, and I'm going through my Eagle project.
okay, you're gonna have to be closer to the microphone. So, unless, I know,
If I sit
I know,
down?
oh, yeah,
Okay.
but I know some people prefer to stand when they
Yeah.
present, so.
Is that? It should be lit up. Is it light on?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
there's a green light on.
No, that's fine. You don't. Have
Is
to,
it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Yeah, you're fine. Just,
Alright.
And this is being taped, just so you know.
Oh, okay. I see. All right. So, my project is working on the Spalding Foundation at Horace Hill Nature Preserve. I am planning on getting rid of all the foliage and green vegetation that's grown up and kind of gone over the fence and through the middle of the Spalding Foundation, and it's really just covered the area and has made what is known as Spalding Foundation a lot less presentable as it should be. So what the project mainly is getting rid of the fence surrounding it currently. It's a deteriorating, basically really bad fence, and it's not really functional as a fence anymore. So I'm going to be clearing out that fence, putting in an entirely new one. I will be getting a plaque. It's going to say the Spalding Foundation, and there's a rock right outside of that wall, right on the trail to the Spalding Foundation, so people actually can walk by through the trail and see this plaque that's on the rock. And I'll be clearing all that vegetation that's in the Spalding Foundation and around it, and we'll be cutting down trees that are overhanging so trees won't fall during storms and things like that and break the fence. So it'll help upkeep the fence for a longer amount of time. So for my project, I took a few pictures. If you're looking on page C and C2, pictures on the left side is just a lot of pictures on the inside of the Spalding Foundation. You can see there's grass and roots and all kinds of plants just everywhere laid around the bottom, and it's just not very nice, and you can't even see it when you're going around the Spalding Foundation. There's just stuff all around it. If you look at the bottom right picture on page C, that just is a picture of the outside of the Spalding Foundation. If you're walking towards it, and it shows the fence, and that shrub that's there is really all along the back side and the far right side, and there's big trees planted throughout it. So I'm going to be clearing all that so you can see what is known as the foundation, because right now it just looks like a patch of woods that's enclosed by fence, and you can't really tell what it is just by walking past it. So the rock that I was mentioning earlier will be on the third picture on page C2. You can see on the flat face next to the trail, or facing the trail, I thought would be a great place to just put the plaque. So people that are going past it on a walk or so, they can just see it and be like, oh, this is the Spalding Foundation. Because right now there isn't even a plaque or something that is there saying this is the Spalding Foundation. It's just a fenced off area, and no one really knows what it is. So I will be hopefully putting that. I want to put the plaque right there on the rock, get rid of that fence, and put in an entirely new fence. And you can see the condition of the fence on the first two pictures on page C2. It's just, there's that entire gaping hole in the corner of it, and it's just fallen over, and it's just really old looking. So I want to put a new fence, get a split rail fencing design in there with 7 posts, not including the corners on each section. If I want it to be bigger, I can. Just as of right now, I'm looking for 7 middle posts, and then rails going through on 2 ends, going through that fence. I put a picture just showing kind of what the split rail design of the fence is on the second to last picture on page C2. It just 2 holes on the posts, and then the rails actually going through it, and then it can just go surround the entire Spalding Foundation. And I put a picture of what is known as a Boston stud method of putting a plaque on a surface. So it's really just putting a hole or multiple of these on the back of the plaque, and then drilling a hole into the face of the rock. It's preferable for a flat surface, so I may need to sandblast it or carve or par it out of the rock, but I think it's relatively flat right now, and I won't even have to do that. But I'll have to get someone to look at that. My troop knows a person that makes plaques, and he's like his own private business, and he's not out there known to people, so people don't go to him. You have to know someone who knows him. So I can have him praise the rock and be like, yeah, I can do this, and he can make the plaque, and so I have someone for that. But I do understand I have to go through a process for the words on the plaque, get it approved to make sure it's allowed to put on there. So those are the methods for the rail and the plaque itself. I am planning on clearing the trees that you can see on the second picture in C2 that are just right there on Spalding Foundation, just getting rid of almost all of the hanging grass and vines, just clearing it almost all the way out, and putting it off on this far edge outside of over this hill, because it's kind of on an elevated area on Horse and Nature Preserve, and just putting it off of there, all the vegetation. We will take the fence out and put it by the dump and bring that out, so we don't just have wood and all that just out there, but the grass and vegetation and trees and things like that can be pushed off to the side outside if people can't, so it's not in the way of a trail that's already pre-existing.
Like, how are you going to take the trees down?
We have motorized like a chainsaw basically,
Okay.
to cut down the tree, and we have adults. I will not be having any scouts handling any automated tools of any kind. Only adults will be handling that type of thing.
Okay.
And they will make sure it falls down, no one's in the area, and then we'll move it, and we can cut it up into smaller bits and then move it across and out of the way.
Thank you.
No problem.
We need to have any kind of liability on that. Do we need to get a?
Someone there, like,
Well, I mean,
As long as,
do we need to have someone? I mean, do we need to have protective gear, PPE? What do we have any responsibility for that, or?
well, I would hope that if they're smart enough to know that kids under 18 don't operate mechanical equipment.
Yep.
Yeah.
The adults are going to be smart enough to know that they got ear protection, head protection, eye protection, and chaps.
Yep. Gloves, ear protection.
How many trees are there roughly? I mean,
Say again?
how many trees?
I think there's about 3, and only one of them's really big. The other ones are only one of them's terribly big and will have a big falling area that we have to plan for. The other ones are pretty small and maybe like 2 people lengths
Are they
high.
marked now? Which one? The ones you want to take down? Are they
I
marked?
know which ones I want to take down. Yes.
How big is terribly big? Like 50 feet, 75 feet? Like one of the big scrub pines that you see when you're driving around town?
I can't really. I can't gauge the height.
You know how big the scrub pines are? They're probably
do
like
not.
70 to 90 feet. Is it the size of one of those big pines?
Like if you had to hug the tree, how
No.
big would it be?
Isn't it in yours?
Could you get your arms? No, I'm serious. Could you get your arms all the way around it?
Yeah,
All
I
of
think I can get my arms around it. Yes.
So
All right.
Yeah.
we're not talking them. No. Okay.
Yep. All right.
You're okay with it? You've seen them?
And I'm here to help too.
And besides that, Gage, since it's through the troop,
Yep.
they're covered. They
Okay.
have their own. They have their own coverage.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
The only thing you need to do is check with the finance director if they need a certificate of insurance that has the town as an additional insured.
So a certificate of insurance to make sure the town is insured that if someone gets hurt.
Yeah, just call Paul McCallie,
Okay.
finance director, tell him what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and that, do you need to provide anything in terms of insurance, an insurance certificate of insurance, and he'll brief you on what you need to do.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you.
Like
Yes.
the 3 trees that you're taking down, those are all inside the currently fenced area?
No, they're not inside of them. One of them is inside, and the others are surrounding and overhanging it. So that was the part where so they don't fall in case of any type of weather things that happen. So I'm getting rid of it just so it's not there for a future effect and doesn't harm the fence later in the future.
So if you're standing on the trail
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking at the rock and the foundation
Yep.
In the fenced-in area,
Yep.
there's one tree over the left-hand side.
Yeah, there's a tree on the left side. There's one in the corner that's right along the fence, and there's one a little bit farther out, but you still walk past it going down the trail.
The one on the left
Yes.
in the clearing area?
Yeah.
Are you planning on taking that one down?
Yes. It's no. It
That
was.
the little island we talked about, we wanted to leave.
Oh no, not that little small little patch, the tree that's just standing up. That's not that one. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking farther back behind there by the edge.
So behind from the trail,
Yes.
the foundation is in between you and the trees
Yes.
that you're going to take down?
Yeah. One of them. Yeah. Yep. Sorry for not being clear enough on that. For the pricing of all the materials and costs, I included prices for all the lumber as if nothing was getting donated to me. I'm assuming that the Home Depot will be donating wood and other materials, but I didn't want to include that because I don't know how much they will be donating as of right now. So I just included as if I was paying for everything in the prices. I also have prices for food, water, posters, any type of materials that I need for it, for the plaque. I just included anything that will be using up during fundraisings and material costs for the fence and for the plaque. For my fundraising activities, I will be going to Shaw's and Tractor Supply. That's in Merrimack. I'll be contacting them to do bake sales primarily, and just have bake sales in front after getting permission from the owners of those stores to have those fundraisers. And I can request any of my friends, scouters, family members to come and help and donate bake sale goods. They will be driving themselves in by parents or carpools and then staying there and then getting picked up and leave. We'll have an attendance list, so people are checking in, signing out, so they get their hours for scouting, their service hours. For the work days, we have adult leaders and myself. We have a truck that can transport wood and other things to the site. We can drive right there if we open the gate. We have the key and the passcode to it when that becomes necessary in the future, in the spring, to drive all the materials there. Yes. Oh, the lilacs. So, at the Horsell Nature Preserve, there are certain plants in the early mid-1700s that were brought over by Captain Spaulding. That is the person who made the house that is no longer there, but that foundation from that house, known as the Spaulding Foundation. He brought over different plants in the area, and they're just 1750s-ish plant life that's there. There are lilacs that you can see during the springtime, and honeysuckles and grapes and other things that are there, and those will be being preserved. I will not be getting rid of those. They will stay there to make the Spaulding Foundation look nicer, and just to keep that those plants that were there from the 1700s still there. Yes.
Have you been to? Is my mic on? No. Have you been to like Anheuser-Busch, and when you're walking down, they have those nice little kind of plaques by the plants that tell you what it is? Have you thought about putting something up there that gives you a little history about the lilacs?
I was thinking about putting a little a small little sign just where the different plants are, saying, this is this plant, this is where it came from, and just give a little bit about why it's there and a history of the plant itself, so people know what it is.
That's
and
a nice
that it's special
touch.
to the area.
Yeah, that would be a really nice touch.
Right. Right now, I don't need any permissions to put in a fence or get rid of anything that's there. So once my building starts, I don't have to get any further permission after I get my money, after I fundraise for the project and go there for the building sites. So I don't need to ask for any certain permits. It should go to the person you mentioned earlier for that insurance when cutting down those trees. So other than that, thank you. So I'll contact him for that insurance certificate. But other than that, I don't need any other permits and certificates to get rid of what is already there. All right. Is there anything else that you guys would like to hear from me about the project?
When I saw Blake made his presentation at the Horsell Nature Preserve meeting a while ago. We did have some concerns about some of the heritage plants. Have they been identified over there?
As the lilacs are very important. He knows which lilacs he's preserving. Not every single one. He's going to make a nice corner of them. There are some little herbals, but unfortunately with this season, it was very difficult. I might have found some of them, but I'm going to work with him as soon as I can. As soon as he starts in the spring, I'm going to get out there as quick as I can to see if I can find them. But it's just difficult with this season.
Okay.
You know, hopefully in the spring we'll see them a little better. I know the ones I'm looking for. Let's put it that way. And I know where
Thank
they
you.
used to be.
What's your timetable?
I want to get fundraising done during as soon as I get all the permissions that I need, and then throughout the winter, and start as soon as I can in the spring. I want to look for the earliest possible time going out there during the spring to see when the mud season is over, or if it's good enough to start working on it, because my deadline is May 25th. That is when I turn 18 for Scouts. Once you turn 18, you can no longer work on your Eagle project. So that is my final date. I have to not necessarily have the board of review. I have to have the board of review signed up. So the project itself and the fencing and everything has to be put up by then, and that has to be done. I think I have enough time. I can definitely get the fundraising done by winter, and I can clear out other materials such as the fence and things during the winter. That doesn't have to be done in the spring. But putting up things like that is easier in the spring with all the Scouts' help. So that is my time that I have and what I'm looking to get done.
We have work days out there. Do you think we need to sign that at all? I don't think it's really, yeah, it's not really on the trail, so I don't think it should be much of an issue, but.
As long as when you're bringing the fence and the burial in,
Mm-hmm.
just don't leave it in the middle of the trail.
Right.
Put it in that field area to the
Right.
left-hand side.
Of course.
I think you should be all set.
Do you know how old the fence that's up there is now?
I believe it was.
10-ish years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Ernie Buck had it.
Yeah, the fence there was put up by PWD.
Oh, okay,
was just
so
a-
it's not,
It was something just put up to put up a fence.
okay,
There's nothing special about it.
okay,
It's an Anheuser-Busch thing with Ernie Buck.
There's no historical value there.
Yeah.
okay. Now, I was gonna say, because I know there's a crafter in town that works with old planking and stuff like that, so,
This is like
This is a-
non-pressure treated 4x4s that we're painting.
They're welcome to them.
she.
They can get them anytime they want.
Yeah, I think she's looking for barn board and stuff like that, so.
Carpenter ants and termites.
Oh. So, in the Spalding Foundation, since there are certain things that are there, in the middle, if you go back to the pictures that kind of show the ground, so the second to last picture on page C is just a picture of the ground in the middle of the Spalding Foundation, and there are rocks and other things laid across there. But I did happen to find this metal thing protruding from the ground. It's just kind of sticking out, and it branches off into 3 other metal bars. And I tried pulling onto it to see if it would come up, but I wasn't able to just get it from a light pulling, so it's probably really stuck in there. But we'll have her. She'll be coming in and looking through it, and other people will be looking through it to see if anything is of value and preserving it and bringing it to the horse hill to kind of look at.
Basically, everything he finds is going to
Yeah.
be preserved, because you never know on first look what it might be.
Right.
So we preserve everything.
When did that house, what did it burn?
Yeah, it's on, we don't have an exact date for that. It's on one of the early maps, and it's gone by the map 50 years later. So we know that it burned down in that time frame.
So like in the mid-1700s or 1800s?
Caught me off the top of my head, I don't remember.
It was late
I have the
1700s.
2 maps, and I have the dates on them, and it's there once and gone the next one, so.
So I believe it was built by Captain Spaulding, who moved there for one of his sons in 1780s, the house itself. And he built that for his sons, and then sometime after that, I don't remember the date when it was no longer existing on the map, that 50 years, so
1830.
around there was what we know of it not being existent. So it was built around the 1780s by Captain Spaulding.
Okay, interesting. Well, that sounds awesome, what you're
So-
doing.
Are you going to work with the Historical Society to get the wording? Is that who's going to help with?
Yeah. I don't know the name of the person that will be approving of the wording, but someone in my troop, Mrs. Krager, Anita Krager, in the Historical Society, she's in our troop, and I can contact her at any time for any additional information on the history that can help me with describing on the plaque, so I know what to put down and make it accurate.
Great, thanks.
Any questions? Any electrician questions?
No, sounds great. You know how to protect yourself from poison ivy, right?
Yes, I did have that mentioned in there. All the scouts will be having pants and other things, and other gear, the gloves, pants, long sleeve shirts. Make sure no one's getting poison ivy. Clean it right when you get home. All the scouts are briefed. Will be briefed on the first aid necessary. Make sure everything's okay.
Sounds good.
Peter, you're the contact for this? Good. Okay. Can you just kind of keep us up to date on the schedule so we'll know when people are in there and what's going on?
Yes.
That'd be great. No, he's got to go in front of town council to present this also?
Usually. Well,
Yeah.
you're doing work on town property, you're putting up stuff, fences and whatnot, you know. And there's another concern I have about the heirloom plants.
Do you want this?
I'll get it sooner or later. But, so, you know, it's because there's likely to be someone trying to remove them.
Right. Okay.
I did want to mention about the plaque that I'm not going to be using copper because it has been told to me that things like that tend to get stolen a lot.
No.
So I will be using a different type of metal, such as stainless steel, that can go through the weather and not be as attractive to people.
All right.
Right.
That is sad.
Rip it out of the rock.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to move this forward to the town council.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes, what do we got? 5-0, 6-0-0.
Thank you. This sounds wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank
So
you.
the town council agenda, we'll work with Peter and the town, get on the town council agenda.
Of course.
And make this presentation to them. And if you have any questions for us, obviously, you know, Peter can get hold of us anytime, and we can keep moving you forward.
Right, no, I don't have any questions that I particularly need to ask. So thank you very much for listening to me and approving my project.
We meet next.
Who do I need next?
The council will be meeting the Thursday after this Thursday, which is the 11th. So it'll be the 18th. And you need to get it in 8 days before the whatever council meeting you try to make, you have to get it in 8 days before the meeting to get it put on the agenda. And the agenda request form is online.
Okay.
Okay?
So you
On
said
town
the
website.
meeting is on the 18th?
Yeah. Third Thursday of the month.
Okay. So I'll
Okay.
go
I
online
think
and
that's the 18th.
If you need help with the form, downstairs in the front door, I don't know how you scheduled this to get on our agenda,
Mhm.
but downstairs in the front, the two women that sit behind the desk.
Mhm. All right. I just went through Peter, and he contacted me, or whoever was needed to get onto the agenda.
It's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
Seven.
Go online and
Right.
No, I'm sorry, it's the 17th. Sorry.
17th.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're very nice downstairs. They'd be glad to help you out.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, either that or Becky in the town manager's office.
All right. So get it in by the 10th. Sooner is better than later.
You've got a busy year. Are you a senior this year?
I am a senior this
Oh
year.
my gosh. So you get this in college and, oh, good Lord. Good luck.
My school's not easy.
Good luck in getting this done by your 18th birthday.
I know, yeah, it's good.
You're cutting it close.
I got it all under control.
There you go. Sometimes when you're like, have that much to do, it's almost easier to just get it all done. So, and then when you get to the summer, you're like, how did I ever get that year done?
Live by the phrase of just don't worry about it
Yeah.
and do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be last minute studying in college.
All right, Blake, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Should I keep this on, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
You can leave that there.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I'm excited to see all these heirloom plants when everything's all cleaned up.
They have to contemplate fencing that area off.
Hopefully people aren't going and picking them.
Oh, they will.
That's sad.
I don't see Andrew. I think he sent me
Problems with
that info on
plants on Mount Washington.
the cost,
They finally had to pass a state law.
which isn't a big deal. We
Yes,
can
they
get that
should.
anytime, so don't worry about it. But
People need to realize you take
All
nothing
right,
but
so we can move
pictures.
on without Andrew. Peter, you want to join us? So you have some more packets over there, but this is that second half of that walk, the horseshoe walk we went on the other day. This is the second half of the trail. And what we have in our packets, Peter, is this map that you sent me.
All right.
I'm familiar with what we have here.
So, a little overview. There is a trail that is existing. It was built a number of years ago. It goes halfway up to the top of Horse Hill and then kind of just stops and shoots back onto the power lines. I've always kind of wanted to extend it the rest of the way to the top of Horse Hill. At the same time, if you've ever walked on the power lines, it's eroding. It's a crude Jeep path. It's not appealing. So it kind of moves users more into the woods and a snaked path up to the top of Horse Hill. And then, the other trail can kind of just revive itself and grow back in a little bit because it doesn't get used as much. So that is what I am proposing.
So the other trail follows the power line right away?
Yeah, yeah. So it's every 3 years when they cut it, the trail reappears, and then now it kind of grew back in, and there's an exposed ground wire that runs down through there that we get comments on once in a while on what's going on with it's good to get people into the woods.
Has anyone contacted public service about that? Do they know that wire is exposed like that?
Yeah, we've talked to them in years past, yeah, they don't care. They have mentioned it.
Talk about the value of a copper. I'm kind of surprised.
It's thick, yeah.
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 So I've walked it with the subcommittee. I've walked it with the MCC, and everyone seems to think it's a nice little area to go through.
So, on this map, can you point out? I said you know the map. Do you know kind of start and finish on this, so we can? Because there's some. It also connects up with some existing trail. now.
Yep, it connects to the existing trail that goes across the top of Horse Hill.
You guys decided on a name.
No, not re- I mean, well, the trail goes by there's different names for it. It's called Plumber. It's called Mormon Trail. Most on some GPS maps, it's just called Plumber. So for now, we're just going to leave it as Plumber, and because it plumbs its way through the valley to the top. And if the subcommittee or whatnot wants to rename it in the future, we can.
Well, once it goes on a map, the chance of it getting renamed is pretty low.
I wasn't too creative. I just
Okay.
called it Plumber.
Or Plumber Trail. Is that what you know it as too?
It goes by a number of names on the map. It says Fat Cat.
Well, but that's one we approved a while ago.
That's so this starts on that trail
Right.
and then goes up. Fat Cat goes down. So
It could be Fat Cat. It could be. I've heard Horseplay. I don't know.
it goes by a number of names, but I think the subcommittee should.
Right. Well, that's what I was hoping to have. The subcommittee would come here with a. Here's the whole plan.
Yeah, because we don't have a
'Cause-
meeting for a while, so, and this was something that I was planning on hopefully putting in now before snow flies.
Because I just don't want the meeting minutes to reflect some unnamed trail going in to Horse Hill. I'd rather have.
Any suggestions?
Our next meeting is January.
Well, we can always have a meeting.
Yeah.
We didn't even know this was on
Right.
tonight at all, so.
We can call a
until
meeting anytime
yesterday.
we want, absolutely, yeah.
So, we didn't, we didn't know this was coming up, we didn't know this, so. Plumber is okay for me for now, but if you want an official name, I don't think you need an
Would
official
it
name
start?
tonight,
Would
do
it
you?
would it start and stop? Or Fat Cat? Because we already approved that
Yeah.
a while
What was
ago.
this approved? Fat Cat, I never heard of
Yeah.
anything Fat Cat being
Yeah, that
approved.
was back in.
It's never, the name Fat Cat's never appeared on our maps or anything, or been talked about, so I don't know what.
I remember
that
hearing
is.
about that name like a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Is that,
Never
no.
got filtered to us, let's put it that way, we never heard that name before.
I think that's just what it appeared as on maps, like this one.
Yeah.
That's how we.
So we just kind of approved as is?
That's how we've discussed that trail
No?
here, is as Fat Cat. But
As GPSs became more used by users, different people would name different trails what they decided to call them. And then they kind of just, the next person who did the trail said, oh, somebody called it Fat Cat, or somebody called it Plumber, or Mormon Trail. So one trail could have many names.
when I was mapping it with NRPC, we walked that, and it came up on his display as Fat Cat.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So it's on Google Earth somewhere.
Somebody, people name trails, and you know,
Right.
what really is important is what we end up naming it,
Right.
what the signposts say, and what it says on our map. So, at any time we can change it. That trail's been there for 3 years, and it doesn't have a name yet. So,
This is the trail, yeah. Peter's.
But somebody saw a fat cat running down it at one point. So.
Oh, that's
I'm guessing.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
Has many meanings.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So should we go with that as a name? I mean,
Do you have to give it a name? Because I think it bears a
when you
little
get up, 'cause
thought.
the
A
things
trail
go by
name.
your
Yeah, why don't you- why don't you-
says something.
Why don't you come up?
Well,
well-
no, it's Peter's thing, I just,
I know, but we're going to have
We're going to get yelled at.
these microphone mufflings in the background that we're not going to have any work from. So.
unless there's a real reason for you to have a name tonight, I think it would be nice if we gave it a little thought. There was a family that was very involved with creating that original trail, who had a daughter who's deceased. We don't like to name after specific people, but if there's something we could use in the name that would be significant to them, wouldn't that be lovely? of us,
Yes,
you
that
know?
would be lovely.
Why just pick something out of the air when we could really do something for a family that
Yeah.
would really, it would mean something to their heart? Why not?
well, that's where Plumber came from.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm not opposed to Plumber, because that was kind of her concept.
That was what she called it.
And so I'm kind of not opposed to that, whereas Fat Cat is like, what's that? I never heard
Yeah.
that before, you know? Where if Plumber would mean something to them, then I'm all for, doing something for them.
Mm-hmm.
So yet to be named, probably going to be Plumber Trail.
Yeah.
And also, it kind of goes like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like,
Okay, that's
like
fine.
plumbing,
How the Three
And if there's
Stooges would
a
do it
parenthesis.
anyway.
Yeah.
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 Soon to be Plumber Trail. Okay. Well, as you said, we went and walked two distinct sections of trail, and that was one that everyone seemed to agree to. The other one is the one we still need to get some research done on. But I know Matt your thoughts on that trail? I mean,
yeah, it seems
it's fine.
like a great addition.
Yeah, so
On this one. Yeah, because
this section.
I know the other section's not being discussed tonight, but I think I've come up with an absolutely beautiful compromise, Matt. I think absolutely we
Well-
can find a compromise, but that's not for
Yeah,
tonight. I
not
just wanted
tonight.
you to know that, from me to you, that absolutely I think it's gonna work out fine.
So
Great.
I know you guys weren't there to walk that, but as I said, we walked it with it was Matt, myself, Peter, Deb. Is that it?
Yeah,
That was it? Just the four of us?
Yeah.
It seemed to meet everyone's qualifications. So if you're all okay with it, I'll entertain a motion.
May I just add something, just for the record? At Horse Hill, it's very important that all of our trails have to accommodate a lot of people. What's been designed here, what you see, the new thing is a single-track trail. And that's okay in this instance, because we're keeping the other trail open, so if they're a cross-country skier or somebody with a bunch of people doesn't want to be in a single track, they have an alternative route. So that's why there's no objection to this, because there is an alternative route for people who don't want to be on a single track. So, just so you know, that was thought about. We didn't just do this casually. It was thought about.
Ready for a motion?
I am.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve Horse Hill Trail to be known as Plumber for now.
No notice Plumber until further notice.
Second?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
600.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, I guess that's it. We already have a map of this, and you probably walked through the NRPC anyways.
Not up.
Uh,
But that's it.
Right.
how it's laid out now, as we're cutting, if we come to an obstacle like a rock that is to be, it could change a little bit, so. Slightly.
Uh, I don't think, do we need to go over the signs? Again, I'm skipping forward a little bit, because while we have Peter here.
Yeah.
We talked about the signs last meeting. This triangle right-of-way signs, I know that's kind of small, but the yield signs, we all but final approved them just because we needed to get a little bit of paperwork behind it, but.
And they're only going at the kiosk, is that correct?
So there's 6 locations?
What I tried to do is, I think these signs, our goal is to have mountain bikers see them. And walkers, because horses are important to the area too. So putting them at the kiosks, but then also inside Horse Hill in a few areas where mountain bikers or hikers are more apt to stop and take a rest. So while they're resting, they look and look at that sign. Particularly, let's say at the top of Blodgett Hill, where a lot of the trails are descending off of Blodgett Hill. So maybe seeing a sign will trigger a thought to yield. So.
Seem to be in areas of high intersection use.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's where.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see a lot of them, but
Right.
a few
Yep.
are in the right strategic locations like you're talking about, yeah.
I think there were 6, and then 4 at gates, and then 2 inside. Or so.
In interior to the property, they're going to be on the posts.
Yes, I was going to put them on the existing posts.
So they're going to be on a structure that's already there.
Yep.
So we're not going to put up a whole bunch of new.
Just stainless steel hardware right into the existing.
We have names on the post where those signs go, you're probably gonna cover the arrow
No.
and
I'll just make sure that they're underneath the name.
they're fairly close to the top when you put the names down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to put that sign on, especially if there's a signature on all four sides of the post.
Okay. Well, we can.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
It looks like 9's a kiosk.
9's a
Put it on
kiosk.
the kiosk.
The new Boy Scout kiosk.
16, there's no post. And 3 is that small kiosk.
Yep.
So you're not even going to have to use a
I'm
post.
good.
Yeah, no, I'm talking, if you use a post, that's all, it's gonna be hard, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So this was again. These were. So. This is something that we are going to pay for out of Fund 53. I think was the plan.
I'd like to make a motion
There we go.
to approve the agended submission form. $90.65, but not to exceed $125 from Fund 53.
Second. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Pass 600.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
you.
Peter.
Peter, make sure I get the receipt as soon as you can. You can either drop it off with Amy directly downstairs,
Okay.
or get it to me, and I'll get it to her. It'll be quicker if you just give it to her,
Okay.
because she'll have these meeting minutes and she'll know what's approved, so she can go ahead and get it, the check and all that stuff ready to go, and I can just sign it when I'm there.
Do you want me to order them and using my credit card and just get reimbursed?
If that's okay with you, then that would be the
Yeah,
quickest.
it's gonna be quicker and easier.
Okay. If you would though too, any hardware you need for it, if you could just try to keep it as one package of receipts, not so we're doing 2 different check requests.
Yep.
Perfect, thank you. Okay. favorite topic, because it won't go away. Water levels and beavers. So, Beaver Solutions came out and met with Don Labrie, and he took them down to see that section of trail off the bottom of Palmieri that had an interesting, his words, it was a very interesting problem. And he did provide to us some background and some suggestions, of what we should be doing down there. He gave us this quote of what he could do. You see in the very beginning of the first couple paragraphs, he talks about what he'd like to do, and he even gave us a price to do it. But then in the next paragraph, he has some suggestions that he would like us to try prior to him coming in and doing any work. And it's up to us whether we want to try to go ahead and have a device put in, or if we want to try to maintain these levels our own by our manual means. And while I think it's a great idea if we did it ourselves, I'll have to tell you that I'm really struggling with Madison Lane. There's a lot of activity back there, and they work faster than I do.
It's by Horse Hill. Where is this?
This is in Horse Hill, the bottom of Palmieri Drive going off of Natticook. And when you walk into there's a section of trail. It gets rather low and cuts back up, and there's 3 large dams right in a row. And if you go down there in the evening, you'll it almost sounds like there's gunfire, because they're so angry at you and they're slapping their tails so constantly. So,
Poor things.
oh yeah. It's amazing what they've done, but it's now ruining a trail, and you can move the trail, but they're going to keep blocking up even more and more and more.
Well, as far as they're concerned,
Right.
you're invading their
Right.
territory,
Exactly. So,
They were here before we were.
That's right.
and they're an incredible species. So, so I guess I don't know. I'm just so conversation's sake. I mean, I don't know what anyone's flavor. I mean, it defaults to a regular manual activity to go down and keep these waterways clear. And it's not even saying that we could put 2 or 3 levelers in there, and a month later they're building up somewhere else. This isn't like a pond where you've got a large body that they can't dam and one outlet. We've got a stream, and anywhere down this traverse that they dam is going to be a big pond. So I know that's a lot to chew on. But I know under the bridge. I know that bridge right there has got some clutter under it right now, because they seem to be packing stuff under there, trying to build another dam under the bridge. I mean, have you got any thoughts?
Well, is this the rerouting of the trail? Is that what we had talked about before? Doing? Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right, so I was just out there Saturday, and even after the recent rain, it doesn't seem too wet right now. The subcommittee, we talked about rerouting the trail away from a wet area, but it's been so dry, and it's still, I've just been waiting for the need to do it, and then I
Yeah.
can reroute it over a little ways. But we haven't needed to do it yet. And I did look underneath the bridge, and I don't think that they're really trying to build underneath the bridge. I think it's more just debris washes down and gets collected.
Yep.
And it was wide open. I know Don, I think was Roland and Don might have just been out there recently, right? And so they may have cleared some out, but between myself and Don, we've been going down there, and every time we go through, moving stuff, and it seems to be okay for now. So
We want to try to stick with the manual effort for now.
I think so. I don't think it's because no matter what we do, there's they're working their way into Horse Hill. It seems like from Listoka, is that
Yeah.
correct? So I think that they're going to keep on going up and hopefully go away from the trails more into the core of Horse Hill.
I would agree with Peter. Don and I went out there with Mike. and-
Roland, could you sign in, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. And the rerouting of the trail really wouldn't be that bad. What they were concerned about is the bikers that come down off the hill. The water leaves, there's a section where the water gets built up, comes down the trail, and then it freezes up. And when they come down with their bikes, it makes it kind of tough for them to try to get to the bridge. But if we reroute the trail more towards the east a little bit more, there's not very many big trees. It'd be coming down the hill.
Yep.
And if we reroute that, for the time being, we figure the water might come on the trail, and then we'd go back to under the bridge. We did remove some. He says remove rocks, but there are some huge boulders in there that you're not gonna move. That's gonna have to stand on the bridge, but we did take some off down an eye. $3,000 is an awful lot of money, and we explained it as it goes in the, I don't know, you know how it works. It goes on the bottom of the pond.
Yep.
The pipe goes up, whatever level there is, stays there until the water gets higher, and then it just flows out to the other
Right.
side. But he said you might have to put more than one to divert that problem, which is now you're talking 6,000, or maybe, $5,000, whatever it's gonna be. I figure maybe it'd be worthwhile to 1 year and see exactly what happens. When it's been so dry, and we don't see any water coming in right now, the snow. If we can divert it, and the bikes will be okay, because that way they can come down a nice straight path and go directly across the bridge. We'd have to make that little curve, and, well, you've been on the trail in the winter, right? It gets icy and built up a little bit. I would agree with Peter.
Okay.
I think we should go.
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather attack this manually than having to spend money on it all the time, but I do know firsthand how busy they are.
They are,
So-
well, Don took a picture of a good size
Yeah.
of beaver while we were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, really nice, big beaver. But they're busy. There's no
Yeah.
Well,
question.
I saw a nice big dead one on the side
Oh,
of
is
the
that
road, up by the,
That's not something we're going to put on the website.
no.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I think I'd go with the manual first, see if it
Okay.
works. You know,
Well, I do appreciate you guys too getting out there and
Yeah.
walking, because Mike had been there a couple times trying to find that location on his own and was unsuccessful.
it's a bummer. Well, it's directly behind Watson's.
Yeah, so he
further
appreciated it, and I appreciate you guys
You know.
getting out, leading him out there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can, I'll let him know that we're gonna try to stick to the manual effort for now and see what we can do. While he was in town, he also went over and looked at behind Madison again, just so you guys are all aware. That area, there's no stream, there's no set stream bed back there where they're damming up. It is an area that ponds, it's multiple lowland areas. So whatever they dam up, it just kind of ponds over here, and then they dam that up, and it ponds over there, and it dams that up, and so it's just a swamp of an area, and they dam up wherever they can. So there's no one place for him to go in and do any, he puts a leveler in, it's not going to do any good because they're just going to build a dam over somewhere else. So we're relegated to the removal of the animals or constant removal of the dams. And as you know, we did do some trapping over there a couple of years ago, and we had a season of, about 2 seasons of relatively, because this year's not been a lot of water, but they're damming up what they can. So that's going to be an ongoing issue for us. And so, unless we want to consider trapping again.
No.
Not that you have any strong feelings about it.
killing them.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
The lucidity rate for relocated
Oh,
is
okay.
very,
Okay.
very low. And so where we you have to find a place that, one, will accept them, but that also that does not have any beaver local, because they'll fight to the death if they invade on their own property, so.
Uh-huh.
And you have to do it very early in the season, so they have enough time to establish culture and food storage, so it's, the rate of this is very low, unfortunately, when you relocate them, so.
And we already have a couple that moved out of Greens Pond this year.
Yeah.
Because you can walk up to the beaver hut and look in the hole in the bottom. And nobody's home, so.
Oh, because of the no water,
There's
you
no
mean?
water.
Mm-hmm.
Even now?
Nothing.
So, all right. All right, we're gonna.
But thank you for having him come out to look at the Horse Hill. You know, we think we just we wanted his assessment.
Yep.
You know, so.
Well, he didn't do it for free. We
Right.
didn't pay him for it, so it's that's his job.
Right.
He literally travels all over the country putting these things in.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never, I've spoken to him for a while, and he was out in Montana, and he's built some huge, we joke about that big pipe that's in Greater Woods, for the outflow, and he said, oh, there's pipes that are, 6 or 8 feet diameter.
Really? Wow.
That he's walking through them. Holy crap. Could drain a reservoir.
There's a lot of snowfall out there.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, next item on here, invasive study, is we're in the receipt of an email regarding burning bush, and it's this happens to be in Horse Hill. A lady was walking in there and saw a tremendous amount of burning bush and wants to know what our invasive plan is. We have the same problem with the same bush in Washman. We just paid a lot of money to get all that knotweed taken out around by Brookside. We have a lot. We have, if you guys walk around town, you've seen it. There's a lot of invasives in town, and we don't have any kind of real plan as to what to do or how to deal with it. So, just put this on the agenda so we could have something to talk about. As far as we have some ideas and have some plans. It's something we should be able to come up with something to start addressing. Maybe we put in a trail, we include monies to do an invasive study on that trail or something along those lines, or something along those lines, something that we can start getting a handle on what we have in town and what we should be doing about it.
That'd be a bottomless pit.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I mean, but there's going to have to. We're going to, at some point in time, you're going to end up losing. You're going to end up losing properties because you can't do something with them. We can't, like Brookside Drive is a perfect example. I mean, that whole area was getting taken over. I mean, that lady was losing her porch.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was pulling deck boards off her porch. Yeah. So I mean,
She was out there doing a lot of the stuff herself.
Yeah. And there's a very active group over at the Babuzik Lake that they're dealing with the knotweed on their own, but it's they're aggressive volunteers that are doing it, and they're doing a great job. So, it's
You're talking about milfoil at Natticook?
no, they're dealing with knotweed on one of the beaches, and they've done an awesome job of tarping it down and killing it, and really they're doing a nice job. But milfoils also. I mean, they're doing a lot of milfoil too, and Babuzik Lake, a lot of milfoil work. But that's a very active. That's a very active. The Lake Association is very, very active, and they're proactive, so which is good. But obviously, we don't need to make a plan tonight. I just wanted the guys to we also start thinking about what things we can do, where we can do it, and because it's going to be a problem. We know it's a problem. We know it's a problem in Natticook now. We know we've got some areas, obviously some areas in Horse Hill.
I noticed they're offering a class Saturday on invasive.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wait, you mean at the NR?
Yep. Signed up for that.
I signed up for it.
I think I did. Go through and look what I signed up for. But even if it's even now, just if we could start marking the areas that we know of. I mean, I was just starting to just keep a list so we can start detailing what it is and where it is. See if we can, find the vein of it, and we know this stuff in Brookside. We can figure out where else it came from, where else along the waterway it is. We might be able to kind of find the route.
There's the drainage right away off of Natticook Road that runs next to my property.
Mm-hmm.
That eventually the stuff that's growing up on my property will wash down into that and go down into Horse Hill.
What do you have growing up in yours?
Pardon?
What do you have growing up in yours?
Burning bush.
Burning bush. See, the biggest problem with that too is a lot of those birds,
Yeah,
because the seeds survive in their defecation, so they eat
Yeah.
it and they go poop over here, and there goes another fertilized little plant. So that's a very difficult one. Not just because it grows so incessantly.
because I've got, the yard problem. The yard issue is my issue.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of the stone wall, that's the town. That's been a town right away since I moved into town 40 years ago. They put that in when Tim Posey and those guys owned that whole property back there, because that was going to be one of the accesses into supposedly one of the accesses into the subdivision that they had planned for back there. But like you said, when they rebuilt the road, or they redid the drainage on the road, they got a lot of it. They got a bunch of it out, but there's still at least a 10-foot by 60-foot strip that runs down that stone wall. And knowing how that stuff will eventually travel.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and burning bush at least is manageable. But you get stuff like the knotweed or some of these other fern-based ones. They're unbelievable.
But it's not just on your properties.
Right.
Okay, so maybe you need to get together with Public Works and the other entities that have pieces of property to see what's going on their properties, and figure out a way to come up with a way to pay for the removal or the subjugation of it in some fashion.
So none of us have done anything about that yet, because we've started down that road already. So there's no real good invasive plan yet. So just some I'll think about it. If you can start, even just as you're walking around, if you see things, start just trying to take mental note of where they are, and we can start trying to keep a list of what we see and where we see it. See if we can kind of find some way to deal with it all. The wetland study. Molly Jacobson, I don't know if you guys remember that name. She did a pamphlet for us on Greater Woods, some of the insects and bugs and stuff that was on Greater Woods. She did a nice job. She in the Horse Hill. Sorry, I'm not saying Horse Hill. She's doing a study now, wetlands impact study, and she's picked the middle school to do the study on it. This is a report project for her class. I believe this is going to be one of her senior projects. So, and she's going to share it with us when it's done. But right now she's in the fact finding stage, and Amy is feeding her all the information we have on the wetlands in the middle school and what was done, and the work that was done over there for the school. I have given her our names and emails if she's got questions for anybody. I told her to go ahead, feel free to reach out to if she knows anyone on the board or whoever, and ask questions, and we'd be glad to try to walk with her and meet with her and relay any information that we may have. So this is more just a heads up that you may be getting an email from Molly and who she is. Seemed like an interesting project, and I'd like to know more about the Beaver Meadow right there, because that's a successional. That's going to be a successional meadow. That's going to be back to a pond here before in our lifetime, I think, which is going to be kind of interesting to see that whole cycle. All right. Other business. Jeff Littleton is probably going to be joining us in our first December meeting. He's going to be, he's going to have a rough draft for us here within the next couple of weeks. He was able to capture the last turtle, and he has all the telemetry off the turtles now, so, yeah. Still think that's funny that they couldn't capture the turtle, but. So, I said
like
he's.
Dealing with the beaver.
And he's not been able to go over to Horse Hill and look at that map reroute yet. That trail reroute, he's still got that on his agenda. He's trying to clear up. He's got a bunch of students that are, getting their senior work finished. So he's helping them get their act together, and then he's going to come out and help us. So, the trail mapping update that's ongoing. I ran into Matt Saturday or Sunday.
At Grader.
Yeah. He's sitting there staring at. He's got a map. It's one of our maps, but it's old. I mean, that's from like Friends of Greater Woods old, and I don't know how the heck he got it. He's like, oh yeah, I found it on some website somewhere. I'm like, oh, we got one that's a lot better than that. It's not good, but it's a lot better than that one. So he was trying to hand draw things on it. So we got him. I showed him a couple places he was looking for. So he's still out here doing stuff.
I'm going in on Thursday.
For them?
To their office.
Oh, okay. I did. Yeah, that's all. I just want to tell you I saw him, but you can go give the full update because I don't really have any more information than that. Do you?
That's it. I'm
Yeah.
meeting with it. I didn't get out there with him. He was going to try it solo.
Yeah.
And
Well, he was there.
perfect.
Found him.
Can't get much mapping done when you're not there, so
Yeah.
it's a great start.
He walked the. We caught him on the bottom of the school loop, at the bottom of Lincoln School Loop. So he walked lower loop, went out to the gate and back, and then we took him down the classroom trail. Well, actually that unnamed trail that goes by the overlook and ends up in the back of the classroom. And I realized we don't have a name for that trail, so we do need to figure out something. But then he walked all the way down to Bambi with us too, so he's got that trail.
Oh, good.
The classroom, it's going to be the classroom trail. So that's cool.
When are we gonna start building that bridge?
So the equipment, all the stuff's been ordered. So I'm waiting for some kind of idea of when it's going to be here, and then we can start from there. I'm going to have it all delivered, and we can go from there. So I'll know probably tomorrow or probably Thursday when we're going to expect all the bridge supplies for the classroom bridge. There's no real update on the land donations. That's we're waiting for our 90 days to fold. That's going to be once that happens, we'll know what's going on with that. The Washington encroachment area, you all have in your packets this update from Jillian regarding the Washington encroachment. In short, it looks like it's pretty well managed and taken care of and done. So I think that this kind of takes it off our list of things to keep updated on. It's been handled. It's been done. Unless you know otherwise, I think this is pretty much of a closure on that. The website update. That's something we're going to have to wait for Tim to return. He'll be back at the next meeting. There's not been any extra work done on the Greater Woods bypass since our first foray into it. We're trying to coordinate weekends and off time to get out there again. Dawn and PWD are thinking they may be able to get out there on their own now that the actual base trail is laid out and the transits are laid out. They might be able to get out there on their own, finish all the transit studies, and get that new road bypass designed. So we're waiting to hear back from her. Oh, that's on here twice. So it doesn't need to be on here twice. Subcommittee updates. Do we have anything?
Greater Woods next meeting is November 15th.
Okay. And that doesn't need to be on there again, the wetland alteration study. That's, we already just spoke about that. All right, view of the minutes. Who's right out of here?
I only got up to page 7, so
Move the October 17 minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Tom, second by Matt. Go, Cindy. Or
I didn't get to
I
mean, we didn't get through them all,
Yeah,
so.
the only thing that I
think we
I
wa-
caught was on page 1, line 5, that the meeting started actually at 6:30, not at 6.
Yeah, I saw
But
that
I
too.
only got up to page,
Fine.
yeah,
I
but
didn't
I
read
only
that.
got
I
up to
didn't see that
page 7, so if we want to table them until the next meeting, I would be good with that.
Yeah,
Give me a chance to look it over a little more clearly.
me too.
A lot of minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
I only found one thing. Yeah. All right. Tom, do you want to?
No problem. Table the minutes.
Table the minutes until the next meeting. Which is on. Yeah, so our next meeting is on the 21st. And we'll table the minutes then and take them up again on the 21st. Okay. Public comment.
Hello again. So as I mentioned before, as you know, that there was some controversy about the trail, as Matt laid it out. It was fine, except for the loop that went over by Long Pond. We had an issue with that. But I've gone out there, and I found what I truly, in my heart, believe is a great compromise. It's a really easy way down, and I want to know how to go forward with this. It would keep us far away from the pond, so I feel like it's okay it'll be okay by our committee, and yet I think it satisfies what Matt wants, which is a way to get down to post 14 that's appropriate for not washing things away. I think it's a really ideal location. So how do you want to proceed with looking at that?
So, as with any trail, we'd like the subcommittee to, address it, find your trail, find how you want it to lake. You can flag it.
Well, see, it's really Matt's trail. I mean, all this is a very short distance from where Matt has his loops. From one down to post 14 is really quite close. It's really, he's already flagged it. It's really his trail. It's just this last little bit from where he's already flagged down to post 14. So if you want, I'll go down and flag that last little bit, but I know probably Matt prefers to flag his own specific route. I don't want to put effort into that and then have him say, nope, you know what I mean? Why don't we look at it together before anybody puts too much energy into it?
Yeah, just flag it, name it, so we have it, or we can ID it. We're gonna walk a short map of it, so we have it just like Peter did. We got a quick little map of where it's gonna be, so everyone can get in there and see it. And then we'll just bring it up, and as long as, once the subcommittee's got it, a package, just bring it up and we can go at it from here.
Okay,
Do a walk.
I think you're overthinking what we're doing here. This is just a minor change of Matt's existing trail, but I will go out and I will flag it if that's what you prefer. It's just,
Well,
okay,
we
if
haven't
that's,
seen-
and then I would just rather see it with a human person it's Matt, really, is the one who's going to end up, if.
Building it?
Yeah, right.
Prefer. Generally, that's what you tend to like to do, but we can certainly build it ourselves, as we have many, many miles of trails. But if you prefer that I actually flag a specific route rather than say here and you say no, but here, you know what I mean? A little discussion before anybody puts too much effort into anything.
Yeah, no, we should definitely go out with the subcommittee. Just let me know when you're going out, and I'll meet you guys and
Okay, so we'll just handle it through email, and we'll just meet out there and show you what we have in mind. And
Yeah.
I think it's a perfectly good compromise, and it gets out of that whole little bit of ugliness.
Sounds good.
If it's that short, is it just an extenuation of the other piece we walked? So, and it's just, and it's gonna bypass just that wet area in the bottom that we're.
Right, it just
trying to
bypasses the Long Pond loop.
get- Okay.
You'll be surprised, like, you probably won't be surprised because you know the land area well enough, but I think anybody else would be surprised that, oh, we were that close to post 14 and then we went over there to the pond, you know? It really is. I mean, from the farthest out of one of your loops, you just kind of boop, go down and you're at post 14. It's that close.
We just moved post 14.
No, you don't move anything. You don't have to move post 14. You will be surprised, if you haven't scoped this out yourself, you'll be surprised how close you already were to post 14 before you made the loop back toward Long Pond.
Yeah, if you could just some rudimentary flagging and walk what you
I
want. so we
threw
have
up some orange things, not a specific route, but just so you can stand, you can say, see that orange thing? See that orange thing? That's where we are. You know, it's
Yes, and just,
surprising.
Again, that's, what Peter supplied was just a simple GPX on top of Google Earth, so we can see where it is.
okay.
We can go forward.
Flag it when I'm out there, maybe this weekend.
Okay.
Working on another trail, I'll GPS it for you.
Okay, great. Good. We'll work together on that then.
That'll work out good.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
That's it. And then at some point in the future, the Conservation Commission, we need to have a sort of serious dialogue about certain trail things, because something we're hitting a little more often, and we won't be the only group, when you have multiple users, and some people like single track and some people like wider, and it will continue to be a problem. So it's something that we have to think about as a longer term. It's not a problem right now, but we've always tried to have, our goal has always been that all of our users can use all of our main trails, unless we say in the brochure, designed for mountain bikers. Those, it's like, well, stay off there if you don't want to be like that, you know? But the main trails have to be wide enough that people can walk side by side, runners can run side by side, which the track teams told us they like to do, you know, cross-country skiers, horseback riders. And so you have this discrepancy between single track and wider track, and it's just something, so far we've managed to work around it by having a bypass that people who like a wider trail can get around those single tracks. It's just getting a little dicey as we get to the point where there's enough trails, and what little room there is left for trails is a little contentious. So it's something to keep in mind. Not everybody can use the single track trails. So, okay, that's all.
Thanks, Deb.
More question, more public comment? Commissioner comments?
No. If I did, I forgot them, so.
We had a great trail day out at Horse Hill this past Saturday. Fixed a section of Outer Ledges Trail and cleaned up some of the areas that were having a little bit of an erosion issue. That's about it. Thank you to all the volunteers.
Tom, anything? Gina, no?
I have a couple.
Fire away.
So I want to know if we'd be interested in supporting, like, I know someone who has a solar house, like, he's got, solar electric, and, that's along the conservation lines. And if we would want to support that, in other words, like, advertise it and have, like, an open house.
This is his home?
This is his home. So this gentleman would open his home for like a Saturday for 4 hours or something, and people could come and see his solar installation.
Is this a new installation or is this something?
1 year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
1 year old.
Is it a full off-grid or is he?
It's not off
Well,
grid.
not off-grid, but I mean, is he powering his full house or is he?
So pretty much his electric bill's gone from 160 to 16, and the 16 is more or less just like a fee kind of thing. Yeah.
It's
So is he-
summertime. There's a lot of sun. We haven't had a lot of
Yeah,
rain.
no, this is for a whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is he actually putting power back on the grid too, or is he?
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got months where he's getting paid?
Pretty,
Well, he gets credits.
yeah, he gets credits, but it comes back, you know,
Right.
next month and he has fees and stuff. But anyway, I talked to him and I'm like, would you be interested in having people over?
I'd be very interested in it,
Yeah.
personally, but I don't know if anyone else
Oh,
is.
me too. Oh,
Yeah, and so, but we could advertise it and, it's getting kind of late this season. I don't know, maybe in the spring or maybe.
Yeah, it is. It's depending on how his house is set up. It's amazing because kind of what Tom's just saying. You get this late in the year and you're still generating quite a bit of power. There's still a lot of solar energy.
Oh, yeah.
Even the sun is low in the sky, and
I
it's
see
still-
him at the Y all the time and I ask him, he updates me every month.
Yeah.
Oh, my solar is only this much,
Yeah.
I mean, my bill and.
Yeah, I'd be very interested, and so it's up to him. Whatever works for him.
Yeah, so,
time-wise,
okay,
so-
but I wanted to talk to you guys
Yeah,
first. and-
I'd be very interested in something like that.
Yeah, and invite the public to come over and just have like
He
4
understands.
hours.
He understands what he's doing, right? It's gonna be
I hope
people
so.
trooping through his house.
He's not young either,
Okay, well,
but he's
well,
he's
yeah,
into it.
clear it with him and make sure
I have.
times and
Oh, yeah, I'll
whatever
get-
dates, whatever he wants. we can-
Before I got dates from him, I wanted to talk to you
oh yeah,
guys.
I think that would be a great idea. I'd love things like that.
All right. Another,
Have a company put it in, or was it through Hooray, or?
he had a company that does that, put it in, that his
Okay.
son recommended.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can follow your usage on a computer and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Google Roofs doesn't get to us yet. They're not that far. They're not far enough north yet for us.
But he has an ideal site, is the back of his house, and it's open, his yard is like, kind of like just natural grass in the back, and so he gets full sun all the time.
And they're on his roof, or is he?
They're on his roof.
They're not on the ground.
They're on a roof, yeah, on the south side of his house. Okay, and then another thing is, I'm probably limited in what I can say right now, but we're gonna need to come up with priorities for what we want to apply to which grant when we start looking into grants, because I know Tim was talking about a grant for South Grader Road, and then we have some land
Yep.
stuff that we're looking for grants, and we're probably, they're probably not going to give us more than one grant in a certain area to this town, so, we have to say, okay, before we start getting into that application process, what are we applying for with which grants? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because that's going to start in March. I got.
In particular for land acquisition, though, that's going to be difficult because each piece of property is going to have its own. Sometimes it could be ARM fund, and sometimes if it's
Yeah.
look at the donut hole. I mean, there's not going to be any ARM fund in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's not really.
But I'm talking about for what's coming up.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Always start with the low-hanging fruit,
I
whatever's the easiest.
Yeah, I mean, and the most desirable thing to apply to is that ARM fund.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that you would have very good. I think would have very good luck with that Southgate Road bypass and the ARM fund. I think that's going to be a huge.
Yeah, well, that's what we got to decide. I mean, a lot of things are good for that. I think there was another thing, too. I can only think of two right now, but.
I will. Well, I just want priority-wise. I want to stay on that thread for a second. Is that am I the only one who feels that way, or is that?
Well, no, we're also going to look at the ARM grant for the Fields Farm, too. That's
Okay.
the thing that we talked about at the last
Yep.
meeting. It's on
So,
the
yeah, so there's
minutes.
three different things,
Right.
at least, already for one.
The mitigation, though.
Or, so it's like, how are we
How
going
are you gonna work mitigation in Fields Farms?
Yeah.
I don't know if that. How would you?
Is
Well,
that
that's
the-
just it. I haven't started working on it yet because Tim said we have some time with that.
Is
So
that the,
that's the
canoe,
canoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you're gonna get mitigation.
Yeah,
I mean, what do we?
it hits recreation and that's it.
Yeah.
The others hit all.
Yeah. Well, I'll look because I said I would look. So we'll see what we
So
can do with that.
maybe it'd be more appropriate during a closed meeting to really nail down our priorities, what we,
So,
Yeah, we can do that next weekend. We can do that.
okay, yeah. And,
Like, we need to discuss some other things too anyway, so.
and
Okay.
just one other, and I saw some river otters this fall. The cul-de-sac pond in Greater Woods.
I've seen them there
Yeah.
almost every time I've gone. Even the time that I went when people were shooting,
Yeah.
they were just
Yeah.
unfazed.
And one of them
They're
got
otters.
killed, got hit by a car
Oh.
on that curve in South Babusick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I haven't seen them lately, but it's been years since I've seen them.
I saw them at the dam. They're jumping off the dam.
Yeah, I mean, they were swimming all around there. Or, you know, yeah. So I thought that was cool.
Cute.
Right from the observation deck, you look down the dam. They're jumping off.
Just down by BB?
Especially at the end of the, like, late in the afternoon. Yeah, it's good.
I was there right as it was getting dark, and I was like, "Oh, look at the beaver!" And then I was like, "Oh, that guy's moving too fast to be a beaver."
Yeah. That's, I thought it was like a baby beaver the first time, too.
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
little late in the
And
season
then
for
there was a dead one in the road there, unfortunately. Yeah, so it's been, I haven't seen them there in at least 15 years.
Wow.
The best will be to see them in the winter when they slide down the hill.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's so
It's
cool.
funny because they sit there and they roll their little legs out and
Yeah, they're
they ski
entertaining.
down. That's pretty funny.
All right.
You
To
good?
do a winter field trip so we can all see them.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right, so
I'll be able to walk.
I just have two quick things. One is one of the items that Tim I know is working on with the website is so the homepage is going to have a kind of a gallery slideshow, revolving slideshow. Wendy just said, yeah, send me pictures. So if you've got any interesting wildlife pictures, if people send you any interesting wildlife pictures from any of our properties, just make a note of, if someone wants credit for it, we need to know that their name is, and we'll put
okay.
a watermark right on the picture. But if you could just let me know where you were, what property. I don't necessarily want to say I was here
Right.
and said
Yeah,
this. This is from Greater Woods. This is from Horse Hill. This is from wherever. Just send them to me. And
Have to have animals in them or just
No.
any? Okay.
no, any good
Essentially
picture.
the owl picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing. I'll credit you and forward that type of stuff along. So, it'll be the right ahead of the website. It's just going to be pictures as you're sitting there on homepage. They're just going to
Send them to you?
sure
Okay.
send them to me and
You want the approximate date that it was taken, so there's some context?
we can I suppose it's this is more for just keep the website, keep pictures on the website so people need to see what's out there.
I saw Parks and Recs was they're having some kind of photo of the different places in town. He wants
Yeah.
to get photos also.
Well, Mark Nozell has taken a lot. That's where we got that's where I got all the pictures for Tim's gift.
Oh,
So he might have some really nice ones.
he's got a ton of Greater Woods. He was on the original Friends of Greater Woods.
Yeah. I mean, he's got beautiful, he takes amazing
Yes,
pictures.
Yes, he does.
So he may be willing to put some up. I can
Okay.
ask.
Okay. And the last thing, real quick, Matt sent me an email the other day. Incredible timing. I didn't tell you this. I was literally surfing, looking for some stuff, and came across this whole big article on e-bikes. And within 3 or 4 minutes, I get this email from Matt about, oh, we should put this on the agenda. E-bikes.
Mm.
And I'm like,
E-bikes?
and I'm sitting like, I'm in my office. I'm like, is that a camera in here? How the hell did he do that?
E-bikes or bikes?
E-bikes. E-bikes.
Bikes.
So electric bicycles. And so it's not on the agenda, but we kind of like this invasives thing. I'm just going to put it on the agenda.
They're on the trails?
They sell them everywhere. They
Yeah,
sell them.
they're-
They're selling them on tractor.
They're. I think we're going to have to make a policy on our trails about how to handle them, because they're dirt bikes more than
Yeah.
bicycles.
Yeah, I mean they sell. Well, I I'm not looking at the site you are, I don't think, if you're sitting there dirt bikes. Because I was looking at a website, they sell kits. That you take off your derailleur, you put this hub on, you run the cables up here, the battery pack slides in here, and it's your bicycle that's electric now. And they're amazing. They're great, if that's what you want to do.
Should we tell you what you want for Christmas?
No, I don't want to do that. I mean, there's some great advantages to them. There's a lot of they're using they kind of started, I guess, as more of as an elderly mode of transportation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people want to get outside and ride, but they can't get from their home to the 20 miles to go ride. By the time they get there, they're exhausted and they can't ride anyway. So, you know, there's all these migration, but in the, you know, constant battery cell size now is getting smaller and more powerful. Motors getting smaller and more powerful. I mean, some of these e-bikes are, you know, they're approaching speeds 35, 40 miles an hour.
Be nice
And-
if they were
and-
solar.
It's just big panel on the back
Yeah.
of the bike.
Solar e-bikes that can now fly, right? Right.
Now they're gonna want to put solar panels up and run
Rechargeable though.
No,
you
but
know.
if they
run
if
a
they were
cable down the middle
rechargeable.
of the trail so they can hook into it.
Without trying to tell you how I feel about them, I would just like you guys to start looking up e-bikes. It's like a homework assignment.
Okay.
And so next time when we're together, we can talk about e-bikes and you know, to Matt's point, we're going to have to address them. They're another vehicle.
You have a thing.
And they're another vehicle, and
And Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
And
And
if they
you know,
make kits,
And right now there's 4 different classes. So when you're doing your research, look at the 4 different classes of them
see, you were already way deeper than I
and
was.
how they differ. Yeah, I've done a lot of research.
Should we talk to your wife?
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Okay.
I ran into a couple of guys riding quads on Greater Woods they were coming into South Greater from the woods. And they were trying to do the right thing. I was talking to them, but they were kind of like they couldn't get, the gate was there, and they were trying to they must have been from out of town, because someone told us that you could ride here, and they were trying to get to where they could ride legally, but they were kind of stuck. They came in from Wilson Hill Road, and they couldn't get through the gate.
Right.
They had to go through the woods, and
Yeah, they've already tried to get around that gate.
The big one.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
No,
I mean, we're not surprised about that. We knew that was going to happen. Well, except not cutting down trees.
Just running over them.
So more rocks, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't get the message that you're not supposed to go through here.
Yeah, and it's too bad because there's people, you go out and walk now. I mean, we sat here last time with Labrie, Paul Labrie, and he's having a lot of problems with the hunters in the area. Came across a number of them this weekend. Absolutely, hey, how are you? Patting the dog. They're trying to get in. They're trying to go. Hey, does the trail go? Where's that trail goes over? And they're like, I want to stay away. I'm like, all right, great. So they were trying to stay away from the trails. They're trying to stay. So it's just whoever you meet happens to be that day. I mean, we have the same thing. We have the same problem with riders. There's riders that go out there and say, oh, okay, can't go here. And then there's people that, I'm going here, damn it.
so the bypass is really inside the gate, the trail that goes up around the pond in South Greater. It's inside.
The power lines.
Yeah, you can ride the power lines.
Yeah. So, like that. All right. That was only 2 things: the pictures and the e-bikes. So.
Got it.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.